What's the difference between my therapeutic clients and Chayse's as sex workers?
As a male erotic masseuse in this spicy industry, a lot of my clients that come in as a therapeutic clients are generally wanting that positive touch. So they've been through maybe a physical abusive relationship, and just by having positive touch from a male in that kind of situation as exposure for them to be able to experience more touch going in the future. And that's, I think, the difference between a little bit of the difference between mine and her clients, where they're generally men that have maybe been through more of an emotional abusive relationship, and so they want a positive emotional connection with her, as well as a release, which is what men need to help de-stress situations as well. So what do you think about men having that sort of release?
Yeah, I feel like your work is a lot more hard mentally than mine, at least from what I understand. I mean, I've never been a male provider or, a male masseuse. However, for me, a lot of the guys are just looking for some sort of genuine connection and to feel something. They just want to feel safe, they just want to feel comfortable, they want to be heard. And then from there, they're ultimately just looking for a release. So a lot of my bookings are not super therapeutic. When they are, it may be a client who suffered something like PTSD, from sexual abuse at some point in their life, or maybe like emotional manipulation in a relationship that has impacted them some way, or maybe having intimacy withheld in a relationship for a really long time. But majority of my bookings are kind of very basic in and out type bookings, whereas it's very, very different for you.
Yeah, mine's definitely about creating that real relaxing space and vibe so that they can learn to relax, and having a chat for half an hour and talking about things and being able to understand where they're coming from, where they want to go, and then being able to create that tailored experience to them as an individual, because the massage is always tailored to their consent, boundaries and limitations. And so, do you find that with your clients that you tailor your experiences to their therapeutic need as well?
Well, yeah, with mine, so obviously doing full service, it's a little bit different. They have a full list of everything that I will do in a booking before they arrive. Normally I will ask them if there's anything in particular that they need, and that's when they'll open up and say, look, I just haven't been intimate for 10 years or whatever the case is. And they may say to me, I think I'm going to have to move really slowly. I prefer to talk through things first before we start. And when we get started, it may just be a very slow, gradual process for those kinds of clients. But again, a lot of mine are sort of in and out type thing. It's very, very different because I don't specialize in giving therapeutic bookings, so it's a little bit different.
But everyone in the sex working industry is going to come across those people, so it's good to have a bit of knowledge and education. I think, like when you said it's a build up, that's just it's a form of sexual surrogacy. It's having it could be just touching their knee, it could be a hug, it can be any small amount of touch to build that up. And this is why my massage always starts with a very slow, deep, sensual massage, because sometimes people even book just that, PG, non-erotic massage, just to sort of get a vibe, to be able to relax, to be able to just enjoy the first experience without any expectations whatsoever. Do you find that as well, that some of them don't want huge expectations straight away?
Sometimes, yeah. I think it's a lot of pressure, especially for men when they're nervous and things. Stuff down there sometimes doesn't want to work. And they may have booked being hopeful that it was all going to work the first time, but they need more time. And it may be a matter of that first booking just being just about the intimacy before we go to that next step. So things like kissing, cuddling, deep conversation, body touching, that sort of thing.
Taking focus away from that area. I think as a male, it's someone that's maybe been withheld sex for a long time. It sort of puts a lot of pressure, and the more pressure and stress you have down there, the less it's going to work. And it's the same thing as with my clients. The more pressure and stress and in their head that they're having through that experience, the less they're going to be able to relax and enjoy that experience. So it's about you can use indirect touch as well. So things don't have to be directly on there. So do you find that as well, that if you become more indirect with your clients and make it less about them getting hard and more about the connection and the experience?
Yeah, the experience in
better?
general, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, they would not come to me and pay the rates that I charge in order to just, have sex and go. That's just not the reality of it. They want the experience in its whole, form, all aspects of it, having a drink, having a cuddle, having a deep conversation, talking about things they haven't been able to talk to anyone else about, Unfortunately for men, it's really hard to open up about a lot of things. Society teaches them they've got to keep it all locked up, and it's a space where they're able to come and just get it all out and talk to me about it. So
yeah, and I'm sure you've had clients that have come to you and told you things that they've never told anyone in their life. Yeah. I think that's one of the interesting things about this industry is sometimes it's easier to tell a stranger than it is to tell your best friend, because your best friend's might judge. You might worry about what their opinion is. They might not be open to hearing about those things where, they're book asked for that time and that's it. Like, we're not going to be hanging out with their family next week and nothing's going to be leaked out. So it's very sort of safe space to be able to communicate different sort of things that have happened to you and to be able to tailor the experiences.
I've had so many clients come and see me and say, Lil, I've never told anyone this. Yeah. It's just a space for them to do that, to get it off their chest. So yeah, I think all in all, it is very therapeutic for them to just talk about things. Like talk therapy, that's what it is. Just with a spicy worker.
Counselling.
A naked therapist. If you guys have any questions that you would like Chayse to answer over on his TikTok account, please leave them in the comments and he will video reply to them.